how to grow your career as a professional. Many of us have gone to school, out of school. Sometimes we do not know what to do. Growing our career as professionals, getting or becoming a professional is different from even learning how to grow your profession. In school, these are some of the things that we don't learn in school. When we get into the field of work, we start crumbling through this. And it is today that we need to know how to grow our careers as professionals. Together with me is Sam Ibanda, a professional accountant, a professional coach. That is his brand, his coach, Samuel Ibanda. He's going to take us through how to grow our career as professionals. And don't go away and don't miss this interesting topic today. You're most welcome, my brother.
Thank you so much, Brian.
Yes, on this podcast, we are looking at something very important. I am already a professional. I am a lawyer. I'm an accountant. I'm an entrepreneur. I am a doctor. How do I grow my career as a professional? Growing it through the process. Because we know it's about going to school, getting the grades, getting the first class degree or second uppers or whatever. But again, when we get to the field of work, things become more stressing. Why should a professional be stressed while they have attained everything that they wished for in their future?
Thank you so much, Brian, for that question. And I speak about this as somebody who is a professional who has also been able to grow in my career.
Yes.
Currently, I work as a manager in one of the audit firms. I've worked with NGOs where I've held different positions at managerial level, at leadership level. And my journey came a bit faster compared to quite a number of people. Brian, there are people that you find they joined an organization as, let's say, an assistant officer. And for over 10 years, 20 years, they have been assistant officer.
Yes.
Now, when somebody is joining employment as a professional, one of the things you have to have in mind is you are paid for your value, the value that you bring on the table. And that's the reason why some people are going to grow from just being an assistant officer and become CEOs or become general managers.
Yes.
So the value that you bring on the table, if the value you bring on the table is the value of an assistant officer, you will definitely remain as an assistant officer. But if the value that you bring on the table is of a CEO, even if you're still an assistant officer, people will now start seeing you. When it comes to them looking for a supervisor, they will think about you because they see something different in you.
Yes.
So one of the things I learned along my journey, while starting out in my career, is understanding that I need to make sure that I continue to increase my value. Because it is in that value that I can now ask for another pay, or I can find another job, and I can continuously grow. Why this conversation is very important, Brian, is like you mentioned, we go to school, we study so that we can find jobs.
Yes.
And we spend quite a lot of our life in doing jobs. Some people spend 40 years, some people even spend 50 years just within employment. Now, you wake up every morning, your employment takes over like 8 hours a day. So it means that literally your entire life, a big portion of it is actually spent in this thing called professional life. Now, if you are in this professional life, but you're not growing, means that you're not getting good out of life. Because at the end of the day, time is going to pass. You're going to come to 40 years, 50 years. And when you look back, there's nothing to count on. So why it is very important for you to reflect, and especially for our young viewers who might be getting this conversation, maybe they're just out of university. You need to be able to reflect and ask yourself, what do I want to achieve in life? Who do I want to become? If I'm joining as an accountant, joining as an assistant, 10 years from now, what level do I want to be at? And that is exactly what I thought about my career when I was starting. I asked myself, I'm joining as an accountant today. How do I become a manager? And how long will it take me?
Yeah.
There's they used to ask us this question during interviews: where do you see yourself in the next 5 years or the next 10 years?
Yeah.
Now, quite a number of people, they are not dreaming to see themselves. I will tell you, Brian, that one thing I've come to believe is that if you do not see yourself somewhere, and if you're not believing that you can actually get somewhere,
Yes.
much like you remain the same.
Yeah.
You remain where you are.
Yeah.
So mindset, career growth starts with your mind.
Yeah.
If you believe you can become a general manager one time or become a CEO of a bank, you'll actually get there. Because it means that every day you'll have these lenses of not just being an accountant. I know you are an entrepreneur and I know you employ people. You will see somebody whom you employed as an accountant who has come to work for you, and you see that this one will remain an accountant.
Yeah.
And you see another person you've employed as an accountant, but this person has come through as an accountant, but when they're in the meetings, they're even sharing you things to do with sales. They're telling you, this is how we can increase our sales.
Yeah.
This is how we can improve our marketing.
Yes.
We're spending a lot of money when it comes to procuring these items. We can actually save here.
Yes.
As an entrepreneur who is on the other side, you see a business mindset into this person.
Yeah.
But if somebody who is just an accountant, they'll just speak about figures. They'll be like, we've not paid taxes.
Yeah.
They will not be sharing with things like, but how can we find ways? How can we plan, do tax planning such that we're not paying huge taxes? Because they're now trying to think like business owners.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody is out there and they're a professional, if you want to grow in your career, you need to be able to start thinking about your profession, but also start thinking about the industry you're in, the business you are. Because when you start to think strategically, even your deliberation in meetings, people start to recognize them. Like, this guy
is somewhere.
This guy thinks broadly.
Yeah.
When they're trying to think about somebody who is going to be the next leader, somebody will take a chance on you and be like, I need to groom this person.
You know, when you talk about the grooming, I've had that experience as an employer.
Yeah.
I have promoted somebody in 2 months from being a cleaner to a cashier. This has happened. From being a cleaner,
interesting,
in 2 months to a cashier. Because they have shown interest.
Yeah.
Even when they didn't know much about accounts, but they have shown interest within a shortest period of time. Now, when you talk about somebody growing themselves, looking at themselves as the CEO of the company later, there's this culture I've seen in Uganda. Somebody gets a job. In 1 year, they have moved in 5 jobs.
Yeah.
Because of you, the coaches. Sometimes you guys who are doing your coaching, it's like the motivational speakers, those who tell people that I started, 1,000, selling 1,000 birds with a feather, at the end of the day. So the coaches also sometimes, yes, you've coached people sometimes. People have taken in too much, and it has misled them a little bit. Because you're looking at this culture now, retaining employment has become a problem. Because somebody feels they have been motivated by the coaches. In 1 year, you find somebody has moved in 5 jobs. So every 3 years, every 3 months, they're changing jobs because they are looking at growth. Maybe they have been promised a better job somewhere. And in this job, probably they were a cashier here and someone has told them, we need an accountant. They are running into becoming an accountant before even they mastered becoming a cashier. But because they have been promised the other side, they run. So in a space of 1 year, you've had about 3 jobs or 4. And to me as an employer, I look at it as something that is totally bad. What do you say about this? People changing jobs in a shortest period of time, grabbing new jobs. Are those opportunities, or it can let somebody also crash?
Well, you share about something I actually wrote this week recently, and I was trying to share about, if you want to attain level of growth,
Yes,
you need to be patient with the way you're moving.
yes.
I'll tell you, and this comes especially when you're still young, especially when you're still young in your career. You want to chase, even if somebody's giving you maybe 10,000. We've seen it even with the house managers in different homes, where many people have these house managers. Some people, we call them maids.
Yes.
you have them today, and the next day somebody the next day is telling, I can add you 50,000 on the money they are giving you,
Yes,
and
and they will
you
go.
see them going. Even
Yes.
10,000,
Yes.
you'll see them running because they are looking for the next. But what I think sometimes we forget is, when you're patient, you build loyalty with the person who is employing you.
Yes.
You build trust. That means that you also you develop your skills.
Yes.
Because I'll tell you, Brian, if I'm an accountant and I've worked in your organization for 2 months,
Yes.
I honestly have not learned your
Yes.
business.
Yeah.
Because somebody who is going to be able to grasp and understand processes very well, they need time.
Yes.
It takes you time. I will tell you that on average, it takes you a full year to grasp and understand the operations of any business.
Of any business, yes.
And it means that within the second year, you've now started giving it value now.
Yes.
Because you can't give value to what you don't understand.
Yes.
And within your second year, it's when you're now starting. Now the third year is when you need to be able to grow.
To know where you can
Yes,
position
where
yourself
you
very well
are.
in the
Yes,
same company.
yes, exactly. Your value has continuously increased.
Yes.
I'll tell you that myself, I moved a lot, especially in the early years of my career.
Yeah.
But at one point in time, I realized that I will not just be moving because somebody is giving me an additional maybe
50,000 or
50,000 or
100,000.
whatever it is.
Yes.
I told myself that if I get into a job, I'll actually close applications and say, I'm not going to apply again.
Yes.
For the next 6 months, I want to set on this job, learn it, and be able to align myself.
Yes.
And if I see the environment is good for me, I'm like, within the 1 year, I'm not going to look for a job. I need
Yes.
to be able to sit down,
Yeah.
to be able to see what opportunities can I get from this place? What value can I add from this place?
Yes.
And before you know it, you're starting to learn. Because when you're stable, when your mind is stable, you start to learn and see the things that other people who have come for 2 months may not be able to see.
Yeah.
So that is what happens. So it comes with patience and knowing that the person who is going to trust you, because I'll tell you, you're not going to trust me with maybe a supervisor job.
Yeah.
Within maybe 3 months. I know you did it for the cashier, but it takes time. You also want to see somebody grow. So
Yes.
if it's in the early stages of your career, my advice would be concentrate on learning.
Yeah.
Learn as much as you can. And when you have learned, look at the opportunities internally and see what value to add. Because when you're going to promote or you're going to trust somebody with your business, you're going to look at the people who are around you.
Yes.
So that is what I can respond to that.
Yes. Why I ask this question is
Yeah.
that when I'm analyzing somebody's CV,
Yeah.
and I see the period to which you're running from one job to
Mhm,
another,
mhm, mhm.
then my level of trust goes down.
Yeah.
Some companies have gone ahead to trust this person, but they end up being disappointed.
Mhm.
I want you to tell us, what are the challenges involved in employing somebody whose CV in 3 years they have worked in 5 jobs? And again, I would also want you to tell us,
Yeah.
at what period do you think somebody should really be able to start sailing
Mhm,
in any job?
mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. So I speak from the perspective also as a recruiter, as
Yes.
somebody who has been on part of panels and
Yes.
was recruited for organizations. So you find, like you mentioned, people in their CVs, they have moved in 5 organizations. Now, one, in the same way, just as you see,
Yes.
when I see that, first I ask myself, is this person honest?
Yeah.
Is it about their productivity themselves that they are moving into these places? Is it about that maybe they are just unstable, they are looking for money?
Yeah.
Because as an employee, you need to be able to provide reasons for every move.
Yes.
You don't just move because somebody has come and promised you to pay you an extra amount of money.
Yeah.
Or you don't even move because you don't like the boss.
Yes.
Yes, there are people who are not really good at managing people. But I want to tell you that every workplace is the same.
Yes.
Even if you're running from one person, as long as your productivity is low, you'll have issues with your boss.
Yes.
So ask yourself, sometimes the reason why somebody is moving is actually themselves. It's
Yeah.
their problem.
That's what I always tell people, that when you change a job,
Yeah.
when you move from one job to the other,
Yeah.
actually jobs have changed,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the same you
Yeah.
who is actually moving into that job.
Uh-huh.
So in this case, who needs to change to get better? If you don't change your perspective,
Yeah.
if you don't change your perception, if you
Yeah.
don't change how you
Attitude
value your
and
jobs and
other things.
attitude,
Yeah.
definitely it is the same.
It's the same.
It's the same. It's the same you who is actually changing jobs. The
That's
jobs are changing,
yeah.
but you don't change.
Exactly.
There are people who are complaining all the time of their bosses being bad.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody backbites their boss
Mm-hmm.
while in front of the interview,
Mm-hmm.
just know they're gonna backbite you as well. Talk about those, talk about people who come into the interviews and they
Yeah.
are able to unleash.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you that this world is round,
Yeah.
bravo.
Yeah.
And today we are sitting together here.
Yeah.
You do not know quite a number of people that I know.
Yes.
And you also do not, I also do not know the quite a number of people that you know.
Yeah.
If you've come for an interview and they're asking you, what's the reason why you left the other place? And
Yes.
you're starting on to speak a lot about your previous boss,
Yes.
much likely what is going to happen is if I'm a boss on the other side, I'm
Yeah.
going to think that in the same way, if you have experiences with me,
Yes.
that's the same thing you're going to tell other people in the next interview.
Yes.
So that is that's a red flag
It's a red flag.
already. So somebody, yes, you can have challenges. We
Yes.
have challenges
Yes, in
every day,
jobs, yes.
and no one is perfect, Brian.
Yes.
And you see, like I mentioned, people do not want to say the side of their story. To
Yes.
be able to say, okay, I was also not a good employee. I was also coming late.
Yes.
I was not honest. I was taking money for the company.
Yes.
But they want to say, I had this kind of bad boss.
Yes.
I want to tell you that I've worked with bad bosses, but you also need to examine yourself
Yes.
to understand where is the problem.
Yes.
Because the reason why somebody is actually maybe acting the way they are acting is much likely because of you,
Yes.
because of how you're behaving, because you're not communicating. There are different things. So they are struggling with you,
Yes.
and it's coming from their emotions.
Yes.
And also being able to give feedback as well,
Yes.
because I may be handling you the way I'm handling you because I do not know. There are what we call blind spots. I may have a blind spot that I do not know.
Yeah.
And I also need to develop myself.
Yes.
So feedback is quite important, and feedback should not be moved to another interview room where you're telling people about your bad experience in another place. And that in one or the other, some people think that if I speak wrong about my previous boss, I'll find favor
Yes.
in my next,
yeah.
but that doesn't work.
Yes.
Like things do not work like that.
Yes.
You need to be able, anyone who works with an organization, bravo, if I work in the organization, I need to maintain confidentiality of what is
Yes.
happening,
Yes.
trade secrets of what is happening. I don't
Yes.
need to be murmuring around, sharing with everyone, because that's professionalism.
Yes.
So it's quite important for somebody to know that, okay, if I want to grow in my career, if I'm starting out, am I ready?
Yeah.
One of the things, bravo, is there are people, excuse me, there are people who are promoted or who are given senior positions when they are not ready.
Yes.
And some of these positions they are giving you are positions that are going to oversee other people.
Yes.
And what happens is, because you're not ready, even the people whom you're supervising, the people that report to you, they will suffer in the end of at the end of the day.
True.
Because you don't know how to manage them, you don't know how to lead them, you're so harsh on them. Yourself, you feel inferior because you feel you're not ready.
Yes.
So there's something in your mind that you do not deserve this. At the end of the day, even your productivity is affected.
Yes.
So before you ask for the promotion or before you ask for that career growth, ask yourself, am I ready as an individual?
Yeah.
Have I developed the necessary skills? Because there are people also who are promoted and they're frustrated in the jobs and they end up resigning.
Yeah.
Yet they would have done well at the other level.
Yes.
So when you want to ask yourself, what is required at this level? Most of the times, bravo, people are looking at the money.
Yes.
They're like, that position, how much do they pay? I
Yes.
want to be that position.
Yes.
But when it comes to the value that is needed for that role, they can't present
They
it.
can't present it.
And that's a problem.
Yes.
That is why you find young people moving places, because you give them the job and say, what is your position? I'm working as an accountant. Now I'm going to give you accounting supervisor.
Yes.
You'll employ them 3 months. They were attracted to the money. And within a short time, they have realized that they can't do the job.
Yes.
They'll start looking for another job.
Yes.
So the cycle goes. Before you know it, you've spent 10 years, 15 years moving through places. You've never been stable in one place. Get into one place. Get in there. Say, I'm going to commit myself for 2 years. If these people are paying me, if it's a good environment, my boss understands me, there will always be a better cheese somewhere. They will always, it's just like marriage, bravo.
Yeah.
There will always be a beautiful girl or a man out there.
Yes.
But you just need to get yourself and say, okay, this is the person I've chosen.
Yes.
This is the organization I've committed to. Can I give them a chance?
Yes.
Can they take a chance on me? Sometimes people think you're helping the organization, but the organization is also taking a chance on you. It knows your weaknesses. They're patient with you.
Yeah, they're patient with you.
But you don't want to be patient with them.
I know. when we talk about lifestyle, let's have this example. How come that in companies you find that people who earn a lot of money actually end up with no money, but those who earn little money in a company, they end up doing great things. Where does this problem come from? Is it people living below their means?
Yeah.
And then the lower people live within their means and they actually come out with great things? Because I've seen managers maybe visiting their juniors and their juniors are doing great.
Yeah.
And they are surprised. Where does this come from?
I would say that definitely it starts with your values, but also there's an aspect of mindset, and there's an aspect of how we look at money. Now, money is one of the topics that I usually share as a personal finance coach. And I want to tell you that quite a number of people, they do not have ambition when it comes to their money. They're not looking at where do I want to be in terms of my money? What investments do I want to have? Now, there's a saying that it's not about how much you earn, but how much you're able to keep and multiply. And that comes down to the person who is earning a small amount of money. For them, they have learned this whole aspect of, I need to live within my means. I can't afford this luxurious life, but I also need to put off 100,000 on the side because my target is actually to have, let's say, land and be able to buy and construct and have a home for my family. Now, the people that are earning a lot of money, because they think every time the money will be coming through, they can afford to go and enjoy maybe pizza and have KFC every day because money is coming in. One of the things that they sometimes forget is that if you are employed, this is salary that is coming through. This is a tap that can actually close. And we've seen it. We've seen it with quite a number of people who have lost their jobs after the white man put a lock on USAID. So people who are earning 15 million, 20 million are now stuck in apartments. They are now moving to either to the village or even to small kind of places which is a struggle for them. So when it comes to wealth creation, especially for employees, because I'm an employee, you need to have a progressive journey. And you need to be able to think beyond that job that you're having right now. Because what you're being paid is the value you're earning right now, the value you're bringing to the job. But what is going to happen if that job is not there? What's going to happen in the future? And quite a number, we are so privileged. We have this thing called NSSF, where people they're giving you some money and they're saving for you some money. But this money is not enough in itself. Bravo. Today you're earning 10 million. When you go retire, you're not earning any amount of money. Not even NSSF will be enough to take care of your lifestyle. So you need to be able to live a moderate life and grow progressively, not this kind of like, for example, today I don't have a job. The next time you have a job that's giving me 2 million, I'm now looking who can sell me a car. I'm going into debt. So one of the things that is eating up people who are into earning a lot of money is that they have taken a lot of debt. That most of the amounts are being eaten up into repayment of debt. And they don't have anything to show. So that is what happens. And that is why you see, again, back to even to our topic, is that you find somebody's earning an amount of money, but they are looking for a next job
Yeah.
because they have failed to take care of the amount of money they are earning.
Yeah.
And you're wondering, like, where will this cycle end?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is what exactly happens.
Yeah. It's really really biting up so many
Yeah.
people, especially on lifestyle
Mm-hmm.
when we are into this employment. Now, as an accountant, okay, in business we say breakthrough. We say realizing the profits,
Yeah. Break
realizing
even and other
break
things.
even,
Yeah.
whatever. As an accountant or any professional who is leaving university,
Mm-hmm.
what age gap do you give them to really stabilize in that profession they've got? How many years do you recommend
Mm-hmm.
for somebody who is going through clear growth
Yeah.
without these who jump the queues? I know we have those who are jumping the queues. You realize that because they say they have the
They are
connections,
connected.
so they are at the top positions
Yeah.
where they also crash. Maybe I'll give you some of the examples as we discuss here.
Mm-hmm.
How many years do you give somebody to really become a chief financial officer
Okay.
of a great company? How many years do they need?
Yeah.
Yes, I may be intelligent, I may have the knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
but really, at what positions do you think that for a company out there to appoint a chief finance officer,
Mm-hmm.
it should be these years?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a very, very good question. And when I reflect about it in my accountancy profession,
Yes.
we have this course called the Certified Public Accountants course.
Yes.
And for you to be a certified public accountant in Uganda, you need to have done the course first,
Yes.
which in Uganda, most likely people do it after their university.
Yes.
And it takes you about 2 to 3 years. So let's look at it at 3 years.
Yes.
So after 3 years, after you've done with the course,
Yeah.
you need to be able to prove that you actually have spent about 3 years
Again, in practice.
Yes, in practice.
So 6 years.
Yes, so the 3 years can be before, but all in all, if you've spent 3 years after the qualification,
Yes.
you at another level.
Yes.
You at another level. Even within, I work in the professional services environment in an audit firm.
Yes.
So you get to realize that by the time somebody is in the 4th year, they have finished their professional course, they have grasped the concept, they have understood the actual practical work.
Yes.
Because you see, Brian, what we study at school and what is in reality is totally
It's very
different.
different. Yes.
I studied these T accounts, you draw T accounts, but I've not seen those in the workplace.
Yeah.
So it is when you get in and when you're committed to learning. And I'll tell you, the person who has stayed in an organization longer, they have an opportunity to learn more.
Yes.
Compared to one who has moved in different organizations.
Yes.
So the one who has moved in different organizations, yes, there are small things that you're learning, but you're not mastering.
Yeah.
These days we have people who are calling them self-experts after 2 years.
Yes.
Or like you mentioned, CEO, CFO,
Yeah.
just after a very small time. Yes, there's value that you can add.
Yes.
But if you're going to work for a multinational, you're going to be a CFO.
Yes.
You need an average of 6, 7, 10 years
Yes.
for you to really be concrete on ground, to be able to know that, okay, I'm going to do my work.
Yes.
And I will not have issues with the taxman, a tax authority. I'll be able to serve the interest of the board.
Yes.
There's a lot around it. Of course, like you mentioned, there are people who have a faster career growth.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the way the market is positioned,
Yes.
you get to realize that you need to really be grounded. Because you've mentioned there are people who get to higher levels of positions,
Yeah.
and they will struggle through.
Yes.
It's not just about getting to the position, it's can you manage the position?
Yeah. When you talk about managing the position,
Yeah.
I followed this case of Jama.
Yes.
And I'll proudly have to speak about it because the case was done.
Yeah.
So I followed up as Jamal as one of the most young professional
Yes.
who was at the age of 36 by then, and he was the leader of NSSF, the top boss.
Yeah.
And being leading such an institution that earns huge sums of money, that has a lot of money. I think by then NSSF was about 3.5 trillion.
Yeah.
There are so many mistakes that he made. So When they finished that, because he said, yes, the board was my boss, and the boss took a decision, which is the board, and I took a decision, and so now Judge Chibuka came up and asked him a question. He said, Jama, as the CEO of this company, of an NSSF, top manager, as I mean, at the helm, in the accountability that you submitted, you as the head, you submitted an accountability that you spent 25,000 US dollars in the casino in Las Vegas. Explain that as the CEO of NSSF. Jama looked down. What did I learn as an individual?
Yeah.
Yes, as the CEO of NSSF, Jama had a liberty or had authority or had privileges for him to allow him to get a card. He had a card, let's say credit card, for his entertainment as the head of the institution.
Yeah.
And maybe in the entertainment, he had to spend $25,000 in the casino. So the judge asked him, as a CEO, tell us the accountability you submitted that you spent in the casino. What lessons did I learn? Even when you're exposed to all this money, as a CEO, as a managing director, there are limits that you can't go through. If I submitted an accountability and said, I traveled to the States, lost my iPhone, and I had to use money to buy another iPhone because I lost my phone, maybe it is $2,000, it's acceptable. But how do you put an accountability of 25,000 US dollars that you spent it in the casino in Las Vegas? You as an accountant, as a professional, what do you say about that?
Yes, we're having this conversation after the Coldplay where we saw a CEO and the HR
And the HR, the human, we'll discuss that.
who had
Yeah.
attended. But
Yeah.
I think it comes down to the values.
Yes.
And as the CEO, definitely there's public accountability on you.
Yes.
Either you're doing it on a benefit that you're entitled to,
Yes.
or it is something there are certain values that the public is looking forward to. Even if you're running a private business,
Yes,
you're accountable.
definitely,
You're
definitely,
accountable in
definitely.
one or the other. So I want to say that when it comes to the aspect of age, like you mentioned, I'm not yet 40,
Yes.
but I would say that I've been able to get to different positions, which I think maybe older people would deserve.
Yes.
So in my opinion, I don't want to think that if you're old, then you means that you deserve or you're more knowledgeable, and because the world is changing so fast. And the reason why we're also seeing quite a number of young people take up on growth opportunities compared to the old is because the old is not moving very fast. I'll give you an example. When Uganda introduced the certified public accountants course, already we had people in public service who had served for quite a number of years. They entered these positions on diplomas, and having a diploma at that time was a privilege. Just have a diploma, you have the job. But now they introduced this certified public accountant course, and they are saying if you're a leader or you're leading a function, a finance or accounting function, you need to have this qualification. And because some people are already old, they're already 40, like, why do I even go back to school and have to study all these things? So you find that the young people who are still energetic, who can go to class, go and get these qualifications and start to compete. Now, which is okay. But I also want to get down to growing into the position when you're young. It doesn't mean that you have to first like live a luxurious life, the lifestyle. Of course, you can be able to live a life. We're not saying that live a minimal life, but we're also saying that ensure that the responsibility that you've been given is not underscored by your age or by your acts. It's a responsibility you've been given. And where you need, I do believe in mentorship, that if you get to a position and you feel maybe there are some challenges, there are certain things you're not well grounded on, find a mentor, find people that have walked the journey, people that can be able to elevate you and help you on your journey, because we cannot master everything. And if you're going to make me a CFO, one, you expect me to do the work, but I've not been a CFO before. So what is going to help me is the mentorship. And that's one of the things that I do as a mentor, is the mentorship, to be able to get somebody who has walked the journey, who understands the journey, who can help. So one, I learned from the story you've given. By the time that scenario happened, I was just
still a young man.
I was still a young man, so I may not have followed through the journey very well. But what I pick, one, is to remain professional as an accountant. Professionalism, ethics, integrity are very key. And there's also what we call professional duty care. There's what the public expects of you as a leader, as somebody. So making sure that you're maintaining those values. But of course, as a leader, also one of the things is managing stakeholders. Knowing that, okay, I'm in a position like this, there are different stakeholders. If I'm in a public entity like NSSF, knowing that I have savers money, I have government here, I need to be able to look at all these things. So that when you ask me a question and say, as a CEO of NSSF, I'm not thinking about myself as an individual now. That's a question of accountability in itself. As somebody who is a CEO of people's money, what would you do? Or give us a justification for that. So all those, they're small, they seem to be small things, but they matter so much for somebody who is going to grow to the different positions. You can have the connections that there's a saying that, yes, qualifications and your skills will get you into the door, will open the door for you. But what's going to keep you in there are your values, is reskilling and making sure that every day you're continuously growing yourself. You're finding the right mentorship. You're also seeking feedback, continuous feedback, to understand, am I doing things rightly? Such that you do not have to always think that whoever is giving you feedback doesn't like you, but also be able to understand, what does each of my stakeholders require of me? It's very important, because at the end of the day, those are the people who are going to judge you. Those are the people who are going to evaluate you and even recommend you for another growth. When we let's say working for organizations, bravo, there is what we call, I think we call it a personal brand. And for most people, they think personal brand is just limited online. But when you walk into an organization, there's a saying that if you can spend a week away from office and that is okay, that's a problem. If you can be here, even if it's for 2 days, and the office runs without you, that's a problem if you're an employee, because it means that the organization can continue without you. And that doesn't mean that you stay within an organization, do not take leave, and you also make sure that it's only you who knows certain things. But there's some level of value that the organization needs to be able to miss when you're not there, because that's your negotiation power. I've worked in an organization where we've had a restructuring, where over 60 staff were cut off, and later on, even more staff were cut off. The question is always, why should we remain with this person? Why should you remain? And that is why certain professionals are risking it, all because they have entered into the employment space, because they attain this first class, or they have this diploma or certificate. They feel that this is what is going to keep them running. The world is changing, bravo, so much, a lot of things, technology everywhere.
Is this why they say that we hire the best
Yeah,
and retain the best?
that's very true. You have to make sure that you actually remain the best.
Yes, we hire the best.
Yeah, and retain the best.
So you should know that, guys, that if you get a job, do not celebrate.
Yeah.
You're celebrating that they have hired you as the best. But remember, they retain the best. Now,
Yeah.
if you became the head of NSSF today, I'm still going back to NSSF.
Yeah.
There's a lot I learned out of that.
Yeah.
To be sincere, guys, there's a lot I learned with Jama, and I will tell you the truth that I learned a lot. I followed this case of Jama from tooth to nail. If somebody's out there, you should learn. You should, get to it and see. If you are the head of that big organization,
Yeah.
and you're given, or any organization, not NSSF, and as the boss, you're given a budget, entertainment, everything. You have a credit card for an organization. You as an individual, as a professional, Sam Ibanda, what would you do with that card? Or Because now I want people to learn.
Yeah.
I know there are so many people who are following us.
Mhm.
They are on top of these organizations. They have the cards, they have the access,
Mhm.
and they are given entertainment for the boss.
Yeah.
What do you think you would not invest in or you would not go for,
Mhm.
even as much as you have the access to this money? And things that will actually turn against you,
Yeah.
even when you have access to that money.
Yeah.
Tell somebody out there that is watching. Because I know there are so many who get into the hot soup and
Mhm.
they're like, wow, I didn't know this would land me into this.
Bravo, you ask a very important question, and yes, you said if you're the CEO of
Yes.
a big organization, I'm going to become one. So
Yeah.
we need to put this to record.
Yeah.
I want to say that you see, our values are built when we are managing the small.
Yes.
I've been an accountant and I've managed even pet cash
Yes.
of just, let's say, 1 million,
Yes.
2 million, and this is organization money. This is money that does not belong to me. Understanding that, okay, even if no one is watching, because I work in an organization where they do cash counts at the end of the month. So you have this amount of 10 million that you're running with, you can lend it, you can do anything around it. And at the end of the month, you present it. But what kind of values do you have as an individual? And that's the integrity. You as an individual, do you think it is right? Like, what does your inner self tell you? You've mentioned about a credit card. In employment, we have benefits, and people are given cars, people are given houses. There are quite a number of things that come through. But at the end of the day, I think the problem is not the benefits, because much like you deserve the benefits. You've worked hard, you work every day, you deserve the benefits. But it comes down to you as an individual. What kind of way, what's your lifestyle? What are you doing with that you're earning? Yet it is okay, because somebody will actually tell you, Brian, say, but this is my money. You understand? But you mentioned someone and said, this is a credit card that belongs to an organization. I'm an accountant. I'll tell you that there are certain places I don't go to because of the brand I have on me as an accountant, as a coach, as a mentor, because there are values that I need to be able to embrace. And some of these things do not come easy, that you do them because it's part of you.
Yeah.
Some of these things we do them because you must do them.
Yes.
Because again, it comes down to accountability as an individual. Yes, no one will see it. You might even go for 5 years, no one will see. But you, is it something that you're doing and you feel okay at heart?
Yes.
And is it within the policy of the organization, that if things go bad, you have a defense, you have a point of defense? Because you being entitled to something, because as a CEO, if you give me a budget, much likely such a budget is to be able to look for clients. If I'm in a place where it's actually going to attract a clientele, I have a point of defense.
Mhm.
That, wait a moment, you want me to bring this kind of customers.
Yeah,
This
to
is
meet them.
this is where they go to, and this is where I find them. But if I'm a part of an organization, let's say
Yeah.
with NSSF,
Yeah.
you ask yourself, okay, what would I be doing in a casino? And this is not out of judgment.
Yes.
Like, what client, what kind of business was I going to seek from that place? Because you're giving an accountability.
Yes.
And all these benefits, especially because you see, there's what we call personal money. There's money an organization is going to pay you, and it's not going to require an accountability. You can do anything about it. But anything that you have to give an accountability for, it is more like it's something that is facilitating your work as an employee, as a CEO, or whatever. So there needs to be a relationship between what you're spending on and the value you bring to the organization.
Now,
Yeah.
when you take me to the line of accountability,
Mm.
that's a very critical point to the accountants
Yeah.
and to the bosses.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about the accountability of does it bring value?
Mm-hmm.
Because somebody will tell you, as a CEO, I'll meet people at Sheraton
Yeah.
and I'll meet people at Serena,
Mm-hmm.
which is very okay.
Mm-hmm.
And this is very common.
Mm-hmm.
I sit on a board somewhere, and when we were in this board meeting,
Mm-hmm.
of course, there was issues, as you know, and then they had to go to the board at the end of the day. And then somebody put up an accountability
Mm-hmm.
that They had lunch with the clients, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that accountability was 10 million at Serena. We posed the small question and says, 10 million paid for lunch,
Mm-hmm.
meeting clients at Serena. I started asking myself, we asked them a small question.
Yeah.
How many people were they? They
Yeah.
gave us the number.
Mm-hmm.
Lunch, was it every day for the whole month? They said no. Now, it's very common, what I'm
Yeah.
trying to
Yes,
tell you,
very common. That's true.
that where the professional people have let us down.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm speaking on the other side of an employee, I'm an
Mm-hmm.
employer,
Yeah.
where you, the professionals, have actually let us down in our organizations, in our companies. Somebody brings in an accountability that you met somebody,
Mm-hmm.
you met clients or you met people at Serena, and you spent 10 million shillings, when in actual sense it was not. In such a scenario, as an accountant, if I ask you to account for what happened, and somebody cannot account for that, what happens?
I think Brian, you bring up something that is very important, and yes, the professionals are to blame in one or the other, but I also want to give another view around the organizations.
Yes.
And I speak this because I'm an accountant and I'm also a consultant who has worked with organizations in improving their systems and processes. If at all you leave certain systems and processes with a lot of ambiguity, means that uh, the employees are going to find a way of how to maneuver through.
Yes.
Wherever there is a gap, there will always be somebody who is trying to find their way into that gap.
Yes.
And that is what exactly happens. If you've given me a benefit and said you are entitled to an amount of money in terms of lunch for let's say clients, and you've not put a cap to it, you've not put an approval around it, somebody will want to use that opportunity to go and spend whatever they can spend. So what am I saying is, yes, as a professional, if I've spent that money, one, I need to present accountability and I need to demonstrate that actually I spent this amount of money and these were the number of people. It was important for us to have this. And I'm not so saying that this is a guarantee for you as an employee because there is a loophole, there is nothing written down that you should do anything. You need to make sure that ask yourself that say, if I was the owner of the business, what would I think about this? Like, what would a third party think about my actions? Because yes, you pass it and you will not have to pay back the money, but what does that do on terms of your brand as an employee? If somebody is trying to consider if on the next level of growth, is it something they will think about and say, this person is trustworthy, this person thinks about the business? Because you're spending 10 million, but the business itself has not even made 5 million. Even the clients you're speaking about, you have nothing to show that you've actually brought this. So it is very important that you have that personal accountability as an individual before even you account to other people, because that is what happens. So you need to make sure that whatever you're spending on, ask yourself. I have a notion and says that if you think about something and you have some reservations around it, ask, consult, share it with another person, such that if your supervisor has given you a go ahead, you know that whatever I'm going to do has been approved. I've communicated, such that in case anything happens, there is a bailout. So it's very important to understand that, okay, even if there's no written rule around somewhere, I'm not just going to use the company car to take my family to the village and utilize the company fuel because there's no written documentation. This belongs to the organization. It is for the organization. So it's again getting down, Brian, like what I shared and said. If somebody is going to grow in their career, they need to think beyond just their benefits. They need to start thinking like they are business owners, such that whatever decisions they are making every day or whatever value they want to bring is just beyond. Because you see, you can employ me and say, I'm going to pay you 3 million. And yes, me, I will come. But if you're struggling as a business, there's no way I need to be comfortable seated on my desk as an accountant waiting for money to count,
Yes.
which money is not there. I need to fold my sleeves and get down and get into the work. Such
In
that,
this case,
yeah,
who is to blame? Is it the companies, the organizations, or the person who has been given the chance? Because look at this. When we talk about integrity, most professionals talk about integrity.
yeah,
If a company has said, yes, we can meet people, you can pay lunch for our clients, and they have given up maybe a cap of 10 million per month, must you spend 11 million or must you spend 99 million? Because I am seeing most professionals, I want to tell you what is happening in the country.
yeah,
When it gets to May, June,
mm-hmm.
actually April, May, June, many companies, many organizations put their workshops that are necessary just for accountability to finish all the money
Yeah,
by 1st of July.
mm-hmm.
And this is what is happening in this country.
Yeah.
Do you agree to that?
I don't agree, Brian.
Yeah.
I don't agree. I've spent some months into the public service,
Yeah.
and I think when I was there,
Yeah.
I struggled.
Yeah. Because of that challenge
I was actually there in the months that were towards the end of the
of the
financial
financial
year,
year,
and
yes.
I really struggled. But what I want to say is, you asked me a very good question. I said, "Who is to blame?"
Yeah.
Now, I want to say that we are all to blame
Yes.
in one or the other. The reason why, Brian, and I want to speak on behalf of people who are employed, the reason why some employees are taking organization money is because they're not remunerated well. You get it? You know, you bring in somebody, let's say somebody is working with for you, and this person is being given an amount of money, but even when you look at their lifestyle
Yes.
and look at what you'd think as a minimum lifestyle for them, the money you're giving them is not matching to that. So what are they going to do? They're going to find a way of how to. There's actually even there's a viral video where somebody was saying that uh, if do not go for any job where you don't get any money off your salary.
Now, when you talk about this, I'll put you back. What is enough money?
Eh?
What is enough money? Tell me how much is enough in any job. Let's talk about that. Because when we talk about this,
Yeah.
the most corrupt that we've seen
Mhm.
are people who have earned enough money,
Mhm.
but they claim it's not enough. So, how much is enough for somebody to earn?
Yeah.
Because when you talk about that, they are not remunerated well.
Yeah.
So, how much is well and how much is enough for somebody to earn? Because this goes because even if when they give you 10 million,
Yeah.
you want to live a lifestyle of 20 million. When you're given 50, you say that should earn 500 million. What is enough?
It's a that's a hard question, Brian. But I would say that people should be compensated for the value they bring to the organization.
Yes.
Now, determining the value is something that sometimes is not easy.
Yes.
For quite a number of entrepreneurs, some of them do not go so much into school, so they may not know.
Yes.
And that is why some countries have what we call minimum wages,
Yes.
where they say this is the minimum amount that needs to be paid.
Yes.
We have what we call the Federation of Employers in Uganda, which continuously does salary surveys to see what amounts of money are being paid to different professionals at different levels. So, as an employer, I think it's very important for you to do a survey and understand and say what, because also cost of living are increasing every day.
Yes.
So one, it's very important to be able to understand the amount of money that I'm paying to my employee. Is it something that is enough? And I would give you an example, Brian. If I'm coming to work with you, and let's say I'm staying around the suburbs of Kampala, and maybe average my rent is maybe 250 or 300,000, and I use transport 10,000 to get to your place. On average, that's about 200,000. So I've already gone to about 500,000 in terms of my expenses.
Yes.
And you either do not provide me lunch, so I'm spending an addition maybe 5,000 or 10,000 to be able to support myself. That's I'm already getting into 700,000. So the question is, how much are you paying me that can cater for that? And that is why you see some employers have gone to the extent of saying, I'm going to provide you with the lunch. Can I provide you with accommodation? Being able to work together. Because at the end of the day, Brian, again, to the employers, you don't want again to pay beyond what you can as a business, because if you do not get the 1 million value from this person, it doesn't make sense for you to give them the money, because
Now,
you're not a charity.
if as a professional,
Yeah,
we're talking about growing our careers
yeah,
very well.
that's true.
If the money you're paid
Yeah.
is not enough,
Mhm.
why do you choose to become a liability to the company and not resign and get a job that you're comfortable with? Why do you accept a job that is low paying, and then when you get into the system, you start destroying your career?
That
Yes.
question that you've asked,
Yes.
I want to say to it is that the reason why you see people taking on jobs that are paying them even low amounts of money is
Yes.
because the other jobs are not there, or they're even hard to find. You get it? And that is why
Yes,
you
yes.
see, if somebody has failed to find a job that can pay them very well, it's important for you to get down to say, okay, I've gotten into this job. How can I bring down my lifestyle to be able to live within the means?
Living.
But also in the same way, how can I elevate my value and see if Bravo is running his business and he's struggling with social media marketing, instead of him recruiting some another person, can I jump in and start putting these posts out there? Or can I jump in and say, now I'm going to be recording videos into this place?
Yes.
So you need, and again, it comes back down because, Brian, it is until you get down into the shoes of the person who is employing you,
Yes.
that you get to appreciate
Yeah.
yourself, and you're like, I'm an accountant and I see the money that is comes in. In reality, the money that I want this person to pay me, they cannot pay to me. But if they are paying me this amount of money, what kind of value can I add to them? What can I do in the meantime, right now, when they are paying me? Such that when that time comes and I'm negotiating for higher pay, they can give it to me, or I can move to another place. It is quite important. So it comes down back to understanding each other. The employer needs to understand the employee,
Yes.
and the employee needs to understand the employer, to be able to come together and be able to grow the businesses or grow the careers. So it is all around being able to know that you're sensitive, because you see the career growth journey, and again, some people leave the career growth journey to their employers. And when you tell them, you've been in this place position for long, and you say, in the organization, they don't favor me, they don't love me, they don't promote me. But what is forgotten is that you are the driver of your career. The employer is a passenger, the other people, partners, your spouse, these are passengers.
Yes.
You are the driver who needs to be able to drive. But you also need a support system with your employer. And that is why you see, Brian, I'll come to organization and you're paying me, let's say, 2 million. But I need to be able to picture. Because the reason why I'm going to leave your place is because I can't see the future.
Yes.
If I can't see where I'm going to be in the next 5 years in the organization, and you've not given me that picture, then that's a problem. If I join you as an accountant, give me a picture and say, okay, you've joined as an accountant. If you work, these are your KPIs. This is what you need to be able to deliver. Uh, if you this is your career line, you can be able to grow to a finance manager. We may not have one, but we can be able to promote you maybe after 2 years. When there is clarity of the journey for me, and I'm also giving you my best, then even if somebody comes and said, I'm giving you next 20,000, I see where I'm going. And that will attract me to be grounded, because we are building together.
But now, you see, when you take me to that argument, I am talking on behalf of employers.
Yes, yes.
And I'm talking through experience because I'm an employer.
Definitely.
Now, as an accountant, you come to my place, you come to my work.
Mm-hmm.
Some questions that are common is that how much do you want to earn?
Mm-hmm.
And what is your expected salary?
Yeah.
You told me I'm an accountant, I have CPA, I have SCCA, you talk about your professions.
Uh-huh.
When you're coming to us,
Yeah.
and we agree, you said, yes, according to this job, I'm going to do this performance, I want 4 million shillings.
Mm-hmm.
And then your employer offers you the 4 million shillings.
Yeah.
What happens after? Because I know there are so many professionals who are looking at us.
Yeah.
In most cases, the challenges are the employees. I have to be very sincere with my experience.
Yeah.
You've got to this job, you've asked for the pay,
Mm-hmm.
they have given you the pay,
Mm-hmm.
and then you mess up at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Again, who is to blame? It takes your integrity again. That even if things are not right,
Mm-hmm.
if you are not paid your worth, because there's nothing that is really enough,
Mm-hmm.
we must agree
Yeah.
that at some point you thought 700,000 was enough. At one point, the 1 million is not enough. At 1.5 million is not enough. You're giving you 5 million and you're giving birth. You have 5 children, 6 children, and 7 children.
Mm-hmm.
I've always had these arguments with, of course, the police guys and prisons and
Yeah.
the teachers. I had an argument with my teachers, the friends of mine who are teachers, and then they're arguing government is not paying us. I told them, first of all, you went to an employer whom you know has a lot of employees.
Yes.
First of all, this employer can never pay exceeding these amounts of money because of the magnitude
Mm-hmm.
of employees.
Mm-hmm.
You get to this employment, you start giving birth, you have 6 children while you know your income. And then you start putting a burden on your employer. And then the employer says, I think you now have too many problems. I will take you out and I will bring somebody who is much lower. This
Yeah.
is happening with banks, by the way.
Yeah.
This is happening with the banks. Now, as a coach, I'm going to coach you. As a coach, as you coach those professionals,
Yeah.
tell them it goes back to individual characters and discipline.
Mm-hmm.
If you get to this job, understand that my job pays me 2 million. The 2
Mm-hmm.
million can help me pay my house rent of 300,000, can sustain myself if I think of a wife. If I've chosen to bring in a wife, then I should also first work with a journey with this wife for about 3, 4, 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then after we sit down and say, can we afford a child? Plan for it. If you want a second child, plan it. But our Ugandans, they're actually praying for twins before they get wives. He's actually saying, by age of 30, I must have given birth to my 4 children. But their career cannot even afford to pay for them this amount of money. And that's why you see many are getting corrupt.
Yeah.
Again, we go back. You come to my company, you say you want this much, and I give it to you. Where do you start complaining that the pay is not enough?
When you mentioned about children, you know, I'm a Salongo, so you're hitting me.
Like you use a salongo now, you must be careful now. Because soon you'll get like 3 again. You're in 8 children. Now you start carrying the burden to KPMG.
No, no, no. My employer pays me good amounts of money,
No,
so
because when you increase the number of children, you realize at one point the money is not enough. If he's giving you 10 million, 15 million, you're like, I need 35 million. Yes.
Brad, I think people have to live lives, Brad. You know, there's also what you call a biological clock. Now somebody is getting married at 30, and
Yeah.
I want them to work for 5 years and give birth at 35 because of money.
And that's why you go into these problems as a professional, and then somebody wonders and say, but you're a professional. Couldn't you know these things? You went to school. Couldn't you know that you don't give birth to children anyhow? You have 6 children and that your income cannot sustain them. Then somebody embarrasses you with your profession. Because as we look at our career growth, there are so
Yeah.
many things that take us through this system as well. You can't hide from them. You're going to start becoming corrupt. You're going to start becoming a liability to the company
Yeah.
that is employing you. And in the end, you crash. Then you start becoming depressed and stressed, even much as you have your good qualifications.
Yeah.
You know, this is reality.
I think, Brian, you speak about something that's very important. And you see, as we speak about how to grow in your career, there are quite a number of people who are watching and wondering if this thing really happens.
Yes.
Because you see, we have public service where somebody joins, and career growth is something that they can never think about.
Yes.
And because it's something they can never think about, but they have to live a life at the end of the day.
Yes.
And their struggles of life, finances, family, and all those things that sometimes get people off what they need to be doing.
Yes.
And that is why you see, but also the career growth we're talking about also cannot take everyone, because how many CEOs can be in an organization? Only one can actually be in an organization.
Yeah.
So what I would say, it comes back to us individuals as well. And you see, you cannot attain the career growth at your own pace. You can't just wake up and say, I want to be a CEO of a bank. It's not like, things are not going to happen like that. It's not just going to wake up. You're not just going to wake up and it happens.
Yes.
You need to be patient and grow into the role.
Yes.
You cannot say, in 5 years I want to be a manager, and if you fail to become a manager, that's a problem. Like, life is not about, like, that's not how things are going to be. And I don't want young people to be frustrated because either you've been in a role for 5 years and you're not there. You need to you need to understand the dynamics of the employment world. And like you mentioned, if you've joined, let's say, police, and you know how things work in there,
Yeah.
and you know that that is your role, that is it.
Yes.
So it comes back down to you to evaluate and ask yourself, how do I live a life that is modest, that matches my, because
income.
the more you put yourself on pressure, the more you now think about the next thing, either to be corrupt or to resign and find something else, which something else may not work in itself. I want to say that it's hard out there, Brian. It's really hard.
And it's always hard.
It's always hard,
and it will be harder every day.
it will be harder. And if you have a job and you're listening to me, love your job. No matter how small that job is, love it. Because we believe that if that job, if you lose that job, or if you just, that job just gets out of your hand, there are 1,000 people who are waiting to even to grab it at a lower pay.
Yes.
And be able to do it.
We shall discuss that. We shall discuss that on technology.
Yes.
The lower pay and technology.
Yes,
and
yes.
I think we need to have it as a topic so that people can understand what is happening now. Even no matter how much educated you're becoming now, just know that there are competitors behind you that are actually going to duplicate the kind of work that you're doing. So thank you so much, guys. It's been a pleasure. And next time we'll come back to mark the topic. We'll talk about discipline with employment, and then we'll talk about the technology as well. And then we'll also want to talk about something very important, forensic audit. I wanted to bring it in this topic, but I realized it's going to take us. We will discuss about forensic audit. And here, guys, we're discussing. I'm discussing as an employer, I'm an employer, an entrepreneur. He's discussing with his seniority as a coach. But bring out all these things is that we want to bring it to you guys to understand the reality, and let's not hide ourselves about reality of employment, reality of work on and business. We need to bring out things that are real so that people can learn. You know, sometimes people want to pretend things are not there. Like as I talked about, you giving birth to 5, 6 children, and then you're carrying your burden to your employer. Who has that time to really carry your burden? And yet the employer cannot maybe pay you, maybe paid you money that can sustain your child, your wife, you know, few members. Even now there's insurance. People don't want to spend much money on an individual. And in my own option is, please let me find somebody better, even cheaper. Thank you so much. In a few words, conclude our podcast.
Thank you so much, Bravo, for the opportunity to speak to our audience. I want to say that if you want to grow in your career, the world is moving very fast. In this morning, I read about the prediction by Bill Gates, where he says only 3 careers will survive artificial intelligence. And he mentioned people in healthcare. He also mentioned people who into creative kind of work. He also mentioned engineers and developers of AI. So the question is, what happens to some of the other?
Some, not some. What are the others?
To others. So it says only those that have an emotion in them, because medical care, there will be some, it needs some empathy and emotion, some personal connection that comes in there. But what happens with some of those? If you're listening to me right now, what I would say is, if you want to grow in your career, you need to be looking at how the world is moving and see what is next for you. Because your future is 5 years. Ask yourself, what does it mean for me in 5 years' time? And what is required of me at that kind of level? And that is how you start. And I also want to say that definitely there are also environments where you're in, and career growth is something that you need to hardly think about because you are in there. And when we speak about career growth, Brian, I also want to emphasize is that it's not about moving positions, becoming a senior accountant or manager. Sometimes career growth is about learning. Say I entered this organization when I didn't know how to file taxes. I entered this organization when I didn't know how to prepare financial statements, and I've been able to grow. So do not, as long as you're learning every day, you're equipping yourself to learn what is on the job, but you're also equipping yourself to learn, to add additional skills, artificial intelligence, technology. You stand out because career growth is about standing out. The top is crowded, actually the bottom is crowded, the top is for few people, the competition is a lot. So what is going to make you stand out is being exceptional, understanding that you need to continuously remain exceptional. That's what will help you.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure always having you on my podcast,
Yeah.
and I'm very honored. And most especially, thank you for sparing time to discuss these topics. And my cause is that my prayer is that my podcast should be of great good,
Yeah,
great value, and great benefit to our viewers. Thank you so much.
thank you.